There are some games that never age even if you play it multiple times. Whether it's nostalgia or impact factor, there are bound to be some games that are able to do that. One of the best examples is Life is Strange, a series of games that feature characters that relate to us in some way or another. Developed and released by Donut back in 2015, Life is Strange is one of those games that managed to capture the heart of so many. Even after 6 years since it was released, the community not only didn't shrink, but instead grow in numbers to this very day. I remember hearing about the series back then, but it wasn't until 2017 with the release of Before the Storm that I gave myself a chance to play it, and those two games single-handedly changed my life for the better. In the next few minutes, I will be talking about some points that make me love Life is Strange and how it relates to my actual life. Hello everyone, my name is QF Dan, and welcome to what makes Life is Strange so impactful. Enjoy! Loneliness. The term is a form of sadness where one person has no friends or company to talk to. Loneliness. Everyone will go through it at any moment in their life, and it can be painful depending on the person's experiences. At some point, we will start wondering if the loneliness was our punishment for something wrong that we did in the past. But the truth is, it happened anyway, without warning whatsoever. School life is one of the best examples. The following three characters can define the term loneliness. Let's start off with the first one, Max Caulfield. Like I said in the beginning, Life is Strange is very relatable to most people. In this case, we all went to school, right? Just like Max. Well, in her cases, she went to Seattle with her family and then only came back 5 years later to Arcadia Bay to pursue art dream in Blackwell, but without her best friend, Chloe Price. Right from the opening cutscene, we see her struggle to get into the group of students in that school who either makes fun of her or just ignores her completely. That loneliness is surreal. That's literally me back then. I used to have a lot of friends back then in elementary school, but then everyone after secondary school went the other way, just left me to deal with new people in my current school who either make fun of me for being short or just ignores me or just find different way to poke fun at me. Unfortunately, your friend isn't coming back with you, but you promise to keep in touch via social media. But that still didn't work. You tried texting her back from time to time, but as we all know, life gets in our way and you were scared to continue texting her because you don't know whether they will see your message or just ignore completely due to business. That loneliness affected me so bad that I caught myself crying couple nights, but thanks to this game being around, I can share my pain with Max. That is true loneliness. Even if you meet each other again after so many years, the sense of awkwardness is right there, and your memories between you and her are stuck in the past, and when you try to bring it up, it can be either awkward or proud. So many years not meeting each other, you feel like you're talking to a stranger. Well, in the game cases, Max and Chloe met each other after 5 years. It seems like their relationship are broken. And that brings us into the next character, Chloe Price. Chloe gone through much worse than what Max did. Back as a kid, she only had Max Caulfield as her only friend, the only one she needed for her entire life. Their friendship seems to be strong forever, right? Until the day when Max told her she would be leaving for Seattle. At first, Chloe seems to be fine with it, and then everything falls apart. She lost her dad on the same day where her closest friend left too. That pain is unimaginable. When I watched the cutscene where Max slowly left Chloe, I felt pain slowly drill into my body. Imagine what a young girl like Chloe on that age have to go through. And to top it all off, she got no one to talk with, no one to share her pain with. Even worse, her step-douche will come in and try to replace William as her new dad, and Chloe doesn't seem to like it. From that moment, Chloe Price was never the same. She becomes a punk girl, starts dropping out of school, and became a shell of her former self, all because of loneliness. Some people in real life also gone through the same problem, getting controlled by the family to do what's right or wrong in their eyes while not letting their child to do any decision will end up making things even worse for both sides, inevitably causing the child to start rebelling and doing something he never thought of in order to escape that loneliness, just like Chloe Price. But not all hope is lost. She would then meet Rachel Amber, who also got her own problem, where we will mention later on. She would take the place of Max momentarily. Both are able to get along well and were planning to leave Arcadia Bay to start a new life together. Until fate tore them apart once again, where Rachel went missing, and Chloe was once again got no one to talk to. But she never gives up finding her bae, because that person meant a lot to her, just like what Max meant to her. She was once again thrown into the hole of depression. Speaking of which, let's talk about Rachel Amber. She also got her fair share of problems. Her real mother abandoning her dad doing everything she could to stop Rachel from meeting Sarah Earnhardt, and hiding the truth from Rachel just makes it even hard for her to swallow. Yes, she might be the most popular girl in school, but when you think about it, no one actually cares for her except for Chloe. Rachel herself is pretty lonely, and when she met her counterpart, she starts to plan on living somewhere better. Just makes you wonder how much things our family hide from us because they think it will be good for us. But this is a wrong mentality. The child deserves to know the truth no matter how hurtful it is. James, you should be ashamed of yourself. Good thing is that Rachel was able to break free from the hellhole to continue her happiness with Chloe momentarily. Should you tell her the truth? But I am not done yet. I haven't mentioned the side characters. Kate Marsh is a good example. She got bullied quite a lot in school. No one except for Max seems to help her at all. As a person who gone through the similar form of bullying back at school, I can relate to Kate. When you are being made fun of, those bystanders will just watch and laugh with no intention of helping you. They just find different things to make fun of you and then gangs on everyone to laugh back at you, and that pain just makes it even worse. To the point that I was thinking about doing something dumb, but I put that thought down because it's not worth it. But either way, Kate isn't as lucky as me. Unfortunately, the bullying pushed her to the limit and she was on the verge of doing something horrible. And when that happened, people will only start caring in the form of hypocrisy. When someone ends up in a big trouble, those people around her will only start caring and then turn their back against her to do the same form of bullying at someone else once again. Next up is Nathan Prescott, a kid from a rich family who have big influence on Arcadia Bay, but not a single family except for his sister understand what Nathan gone through: mental illness. We seen that in Before the Storm, where he was bullied, but then in Life is Strange, he became this egoistic figure that we all despise. But we never stop to think the ongoing pain. His life continues to went downhill when he was manipulated by Mr. Jefferson, the psychotic art guy, to kidnap girls for his quote-unquote photograph, and ends up killing Rachel Amber in the process. We knew that he didn't mean to do it, but at that point, it's already too late. Hell is indeed empty. Those characters are the best example that can define the term loneliness, and it can be deadly, just like a mutated virus. Though people around you might not understand the term loneliness because they never experience it. When you do experience it, the pain is so deep that it's hard to describe. Those characters can perfectly describe the term loneliness. Trust. It's a simple word with 5 letters, but the meaning behind it is pretty deep. The definition of trust is the firm belief in the reliability, truth, or ability of someone or something. You trust someone because you know you could count on them. You trust someone because you know they won't turn their back against you. It's hard to trust someone because you never knew if they were true to you. That's the reality. When you did trust them, it was probably the most comfortable thing in your life, knowing that you can at least count on them. But when they turned against you, you felt sudden betrayal and the pain that you never ever experienced before. Sometimes the surface doesn't explain literally everything. The following are characters that can define the term trust. My god! Just when we thought we can somewhat trust a good person, he turns out to be the main villain in the game. Jefferson, aka Psychotic Art Guy as I like to call it, is a smart villain where he doesn't drop too much clue unless you pay close attention. The way he acted and talked doesn't feel like a villain at all. Sure, he can be mean to Max, but remember, he got a big responsibility as a lecturer to lead his student to be successful in his class. After all, if the student failed or got poor result, he is the one that have to give the explanation to the higher ups. We also see his high integrity. We see Victoria begging her way to win the Everyday Hero contest. Jefferson doesn't seem to be bothered and just move along with his life, ignoring Victoria, which convinces us that he is innocent and we can defend him till the end to find the truth. But then it started falling apart when Max and Chloe went to the barn and found out about the dark room. With camera equipment and files everywhere, our suspicions continue to grow down the road. And with episode 4 conclusion, he was the real mastermind all along, shattering all our hopes of defending him, revealing himself to be a disgusting freak. Things he did got some artistic value, but for the wrong reason. You do not drug people just to get your stupid photo. And the more I think about it, the more I felt disgusted. How could someone nice looking like him turns out to be such a horrifying creature? That, my friend, is why you should not trust someone from the look himself. Also known as the step douche, David Madsen is a character that was introduced in Before the Storm, which was despised by Chloe Price since he tried to be the new replacement for her biological dad. Right from that moment, we were led to think that he's not a good guy and he is trying to barge his way into the family based on Chloe's perspective, which continues on throughout the game. But along the way, he tried to convince Chloe and player that he's innocent because he wanted to rebuild the broken family and tried to run it as it was back then, but was rejected by Chloe. It wasn't until episode 3 where David showed Chloe a picture of him and his friend that died during the soldier days. Remember, he is an ex-soldier, further convincing that he's a normal person that wants a happy family. I mean, just imagine your child get expelled from school or just got into some big trouble, and you as parents will definitely be worried for sure. Just like what David felt when Chloe lost her chances in school. I see what David's main intention is, but his approach rubbed Chloe the wrong way, as William Price is gone not too long ago, and immediately someone tried to take his place, which caused misunderstanding between those two. I can see where Chloe coming from. Both never make peace, and Chloe remained the same way as she is, while David got a new job as a security guard at Blackwell Academy, which takes us right into Life is Strange Season 1. Just when we thought we can start trusting him again, the game throws another curveball at us when Max found out Chloe's house are filled with hidden cameras everywhere. Like, what the fuck? Why would you do that in your house? Can't you respect people's privacy? Right from the get-go, the game threw all the trustworthy elements of David out of the window and make us despise him again. Not only that, it also reveals that David did use some violence on Chloe when she didn't listen to the rules, which makes things even worse on David's side. Not only that, when Kate Marsh was bullied and drugged, we see David keeps following her and constantly taking photos of her whereabouts and store the files in his computer, as he seems like he wanted to get some sort of information, making him looking like a terrible human being. When the school starts investigating about Kate, the player got to choose who to put the blame on. Back then, because I hate David and think he's not a good guy, I got him kicked out from his job, not knowing the true villain is nearby. His life continues to went downwards when he gets mad at Max for the whole Kate incident. Should you side with Chloe? He will get no one to trust, as Joyce too doesn't want him in the house, making him the players think the threat have been stopped. And oh boy, we were so wrong. Fast forward to episode 5 where Max was kidnapped. Guess who showed up? That's right, David himself. After a couple of tussles with Jefferson, the creepy art guy, we learned that David was innocent all along and he was trying to investigate what's going on with the school, especially with those missing girls. And fortunately, he found out about Kate, and thus he did all he could to find the truth. And at that moment, as if someone just slapped my face 30 times, all this time we have a mindset about David being a bad guy, and we kept sticking into it while being persuaded by people in our surroundings. When we think back, we didn't give him any chance to explain himself, and instead jumped to the conclusion. He was a good guy all the time, who just wanted to keep everyone safe in the town, including his family. Trust itself came a long way before finding his way onto David, and we indeed owe him a lot. The more I think about it, the more I felt bad about him. He never got chances to explain himself, and when he did, it's already too late. Next up is Frank Bowers, a dealer who sells drugs to people, including Chloe, a person who lives an ordinary life in his personal RV. Nothing suspicious to worry about, right? Wrong. The appearance of Sarah, Rachel's real mother, starts making things complicated for himself. When Chloe tried to ask about her, he refused to say anything, nor wanted to mention her, slowly filling up the suspicious old meter. And we start asking if we can trust him. The truth is, we can. Because he wasn't fully involved in the situation, but his friend, aka partner, Damon Merrick, was. We can all blame James Amber for this since he wanted Damon to get rid of Sarah. That's when we can understand what Frank going through. He wanted to tell the truth, but he also cared about his friend, so he can only remain quiet. He's stuck in a neutral point. We can see this when Chloe did everything Frank requested in order to gain his trust to unlock the truth. But when Damon showed up with him, he was thrown back into the corner and have to make a choice. Because Damon and Frank able to trust each other, their bonding become much stronger and solid, thus building the bridge of trustness. Take for example, When Damon tries to hurt someone, Frank is always there to stop. And every time he did, Damon did calm down and stop going after the person. That is how trust can be built. Damon and Frank are the best example of both trusting each other. But everything has its limit. In the end, Frank can't take it anymore and ends up stopping Damon for good. But there's a price. He ends up losing the one partner he always counted on. Trust seemingly doesn't exist anymore and remains that way until Chloe suspects Frank having relationship with Rachel. But unfortunately, both games didn't explain well enough about those two, creating a plot hole. So I'm just gonna leave it there. But my point is, Frank's stuck between two ends and trust is crucial. He has only one choice. Pick one side and deal with it. In the end, what I'm trying to say is that you shouldn't fully trust people, even if you think they're good all the time. Because believe me, there are many people that always manipulate people around them, and some people are so pretentious that you cannot see the crack under their mask. And this game was able to deliver the message to the players about the trust issues and the guilty behind it. Don't get distracted by anything in surroundings, because every clue can be a key to unlock the door to the truth. Friendship. It's hard to explain the terms based on scientific perspective, but there's just something so special and sweet about it. Having that one friend where you could stay connected no matter what happens without anyone complaining, it's just pretty sweet. And regardless of how many friends you have, as long as you have that one loyal ones, you're good to go. Before I start, you're probably asking, why need friends when you have family? Sure, you have your family to be there when you need them too, but let's be honest, they are mostly unreliable. Hear me out. Your family came from an earlier era where their mindset are much different than what you are thinking right now. You could say they're old-fashioned, which means that you and family weren't able to agree regarding specific topics, especially about your personal problem. The answer they gave won't be the one you're expecting, making you feel like you don't have any ground, especially on your way to growing up. Enter your friend, the one you met at school or somewhere else. Just like when Max and Chloe met during their kids' age at primary school and spent time doing most stuff together, as we've seen in the flashback sequences and the bonus episode Farewell. Because you both are at the similar age, which means you share the similar if not the same mindset and interests. You both agree/disagree about whatever you both mention in your conversation, and slowly, your bonding with the other one becomes so close that not only you can have fun doing stuff together, but you can even share your personal life problem with each other, vice versa, without any worrying since you trusted each other, just like when Max told Chloe she will be moving. And that's when you realize you found the life companion. Well, until you're married, but that's not my point. My point is that you can have that one person that you can rely in your life as you grew older beside your family. And that's pretty special, don't you think? We see Max often hanging out at Chloe's house so much that even her family welcomes her, to the point that Max is jealous that her original family can't be the same as Chloe's. She just felt right at home. You want to protect each other and don't want to see him/her get hurt because, like I said, your relationship is so deep that anything that try to separate you apart will be painful. And when one of you ends up being away momentarily or forever, you feel like you lost everything. Frankly, change you into another whole new person. That's the power of friendship. It can be sweet and bitter, which brings us into Max and Chloe's story at Arcadia Bay. Right when Max came clear with her departure, Chloe's dad is gone forever, which literally threw Chloe down a hole of painful and torture, losing her family and her only true friend while dealing with a brave new world. Over the next 5 years, even after Max and Chloe stopped meeting each other, their relationship are still intact thanks to messaging. But it came to a halt when Max stopped replying when Chloe still needed someone, thus meeting Rachel Amber, putting their relationship in doubt. 5 years later, when Max returned to her town to pursue her photographic dream at Blackwell, she still remembers Chloe as she always alone in her course and how she wished she stood there and alright. Cut to the bathroom scene, Max would then see a familiar face where she will be shot by Nathan Prescott, and then something strange happened. She starts experiencing weird dreams and somehow managed to reverse time. She then head to the bathroom where the same scene happened, but this time she did save the girl who turned out to be her old friend, Chloe Price. When they first met, they don't seem to able to get along due to things that happened 5 years ago. As they head to Chloe's house, they realize some things are different, but few things remain the same. But it doesn't matter. Max would witness the mistreatment of stepdouche towards Chloe and realize the damage has been done, and she can only go along with it. Which makes you wonder, is there any way they could fix their relationship? Technically, yes. As they head towards the lighthouse to understand more about Chloe's current life, Max once again having another dream about a big storm that would come in 5 days, and during those counting days, they were able to slowly find themselves again. Don't worry, we'll get back to the storm at the end. Over the next 5 days, Max and Chloe doing everything they could to strengthen their relationship, from Max trying to save Chloe from multiple deaths, and later on, they would try to investigate the secret behind Blackwell together. From sneaking into the school to finding out more about Rachel's whereabouts and her connection with Nathan Prescott, they were able to get along pretty well just like they used to. Just as things about to steer in the right direction, Chloe would found out about Frank Bauer's secret and all of the stuff related to Rachel that left Chloe felt nothing but betrayal, which led to her being mad at everyone, including Max, as she gets mad, both momentarily back to their old ways of not talking to each other. You know what? All of this wouldn't happen if Max didn't laugh, or even if William is still alive. Things will be different for sure, don't you think? Back at the dorm, when Max tried to contemplate everything, something strange happened again. Max finds herself back at her young age when William is still alive, and she realized that was the day William will be in trouble. She took these chances to make sure William can still be alive, much to her delight, but at a big price. She would end up altering the timeline while creating a new one where Max still finds herself to be in trouble. Yes, William is still alive, but Chloe not as lucky. Her dad bought a new car for her, but she ends up in an accident and left paralyzed for her entire life. Not only that, her family used up all of their money to keep her daughter alive and surrounded by debts while knowing that there's no way they could do to save their daughter. Things are not looking good for the Price family. Max and Chloe, as always, were able to share their moments together, despite meeting briefly. Because they trust each other, Chloe requested Max to end all her pain. Of course, I wouldn't do that. But regardless, that moment made Max knew that even when she tried to keep everyone alive, someone else would get hurt. Whatever she do will have serious consequences. Back at her actual timeline, she and Chloe were back to good old friends because they still need to find the truth about the school mystery in which they were able to do. But nothing prepares Chloe when she realized what Rachel gone through, and that whole junket scene pretty much sums up everything. When Max wasn't around, Rachel is the one that supports Chloe, vice versa. She is the reason Chloe wanted to flee the town with her, leaving this hellhole behind. When Chloe found what remains of Rachel, that's the most painful scene to sit through. I played Before the Storm first, before the first game, and were able to get immersed with Rachel's character, even if I hate what she did later on. I just feel so bad for Chloe, losing her dad, Max, momentarily, happiness, and then Rachel. She just gone through so much pains, and watching her die in the bathroom is just straight up painful. In some way, she's relatable to me, like not having any friends that are true to me, tired of family rules, and hating the world, just to name a few. Luckily, Max were there to help her ease some pain, even if she doesn't personally know Rachel, and Chloe swore to have revenge on Nathan Prescott. But it never happened. She eventually met her demise, while Max have to go through the outer pain as if the game is telling you can't save her no matter what. This alone makes the player want to save Chloe so badly, but we'll talk about that later. In the moment of desperation, Max did everything she could to avoid all of this tragic. Psychotic art guy getting arrested, traveling to San Francisco for winning Everyday Hero contest, so on and so forth. But in the end, nothing matters. The storm still comes, and Chloe still can't be safe. All of these bad dreams and anomalies are coming true, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. But you still have to do one more thing. So, this is it. 5 days with Max and Chloe, 3 days with Rachel Amber. The stories are coming to an end with the impending storm coming. At this point, you would have experienced everything they've gone through, assuming you don't rush through the game, which I hope you don't. Anyway, throughout the game, I hope you understand at least something from the game itself, because nothing prepares you for the final decision. There is sacrifice. Bay or Bay. The two choices that still haunts player to this very day, even myself. Both have good and bad outcomes, but like I said, you gotta ask yourself what you have learned from the past 8 episodes. What would you do if you are Max? Remember what I said earlier. Chloe have gone through so much pain over the years, and you have done everything to save her, but at the same time, created the storm that cannot be retracted. If you were to ask me, I would stick with saving Chloe, as I don't feel like losing one of my best friends that I have known more than a decade. Saving the Bay would guarantee the safety of everyone with the storm not coming, but losing Chloe at the same time. Max can do nothing but to watch her only friend leaving her behind, causing the loneliness to surround her for most of her life, something that her friend is very familiar with, and she herself wasn't able to cope with it, as she got no one to talk with. Imagine trying to explain that to the locals. People will say she's insane and think it's a joke. No one will trust her. God knows what will be going through her mind that time. How much pain that will do to her, and how long it would take to heal, causing her to fall into the depression spiral. I would say, in my defense, Bay over Bay. In the end, like I said, it doesn't matter which ending you choose, because the experiences are what matter the most. That will decide what choices you take in the end. The choice is in your hand. Pick one option and stick with the consequences. Trust your instinct, even if you feel any guilty behind it. This alone makes their friendship so special. The fact that Max saw Chloe getting shot makes it even clearer that Max would do everything she can to save her true friend, even at the cost of creating a storm. As we see in the game itself, they would often hang out around the town by themselves, talking about their problems because they are the only one that understand each other compared to anyone else out there, regardless of what timeline they are in. Both never got anything negative to say about each other, and that's one of the strongest points of their friendship. Their friendship is so special that the players felt like they are part of the journey too. Hence, at the end of the game, where you were asked to decide, it's pretty hard considering all the things you went through in 5 days with yours truly. Will you go against the fate and save Chloe, or just accept defeat? You have to pick one. And that, my friend, is what makes Life is Strange so special. Those are my personal opinions on why I love Life is Strange. It is able to convey some messages to be used by people in real life as a self-reflection to be better in the future, while at the same time doesn't drag the story to a crawl. Not only that, there's also characters that are so relatable to us in some way or another, and the fact that they don't have superpower makes it feel like they're there with us. It just hit right at home. To top it all off, the atmosphere of being set in a small town with relaxing scenery and music are also the reason the game can attract the fans of so many, even if they're new. Thanks to those elements, this game never gets old. Like I said in the beginning, regardless of how many times you play it, you will still get a good experience from this masterpiece. Something that neither Don't Nod nor Deck 9 will able to top with the future releases. After playing this, I learned that in this life, you will constantly have to make a lot of tough decisions that will have different consequences. But as long as you knew what's coming, it's not gonna be a big deal. I also learned that no one's gonna help you in this role, especially with technologies being a common thing. Unless you got a true companion who understands you, you might as well deal with everything by yourself. That is most important. Thanks for watching. Shakabra. What do you guys think about this 3-part essay? Do you like it or not? Do I have anything else to improve? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you like this video to see more videos like this from me. Until next time, thanks for watching.